Yokoso minasan, I'm Leo, I'm the professional weeb, and today I'll be reacting and reviewing the second episode of The Promised Neverland. Alright guys, so in the first episode we got introduced to the main cast of the show, the three main characters, Emma, Norman and Ray, and a lot of other supporting characters I believe. I don't think most of them will play a major role in the story. And as well, towards the end of the episode, we got that shocking moment when the monster, or whatever the enemy is, whatever that thing was at the end of the episode, and we got the revelation that basically the whole house is like a breeding ground for people, and the purpose of its existence is to make humans as tasty as possible for those monsters. And apparently, they prefer children. And that's why everyone is so young at that place. I'm not totally buying it. I think there's way more to it. I believe the house is not all that bad. I said this in the last episode as well, in the review for the last episode. I'm skeptical when it comes to whether or not their mother and everybody at the house is totally evil. I believe they have maybe some kind of plan to fight against the monsters. I don't think everybody there is bad per se. I don't think they're good either, but I don't think they just comply with whatever those monsters are, right? I believe they still have some kind, because as long as they're humans, unless we got the revelation that their mother is a monster as well, then yeah, then I don't know what to say. But if they're humans, I don't buy that they would just work under those things and just feed off human children to them. But we have to see. We still don't have too much information to theorize and talk about, but hopefully by the end of this episode we'll have a lot more going for us, and hopefully we'll be able to talk a lot more about what's going to happen in the future. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into this episode. So I'll start it in 3, 2, 1, let's jam! Okay, so we see Emma, and the table and the wine looks symbolizes blood, I assume. She probably has a nightmare. Yeah. Oh, damn. That must be really haunting her. And it's interesting that nobody else knows. I don't know if they'll tell them the secret that they found, because I assume they have to kind of keep it down low in order to hide from their mother basically finding out that they know the secret of the house, or at least for now. Man, I love this part of the opening though. It's really cool when the title appears. I really like that effect. I'm really interested, as I said earlier, in this Ray character, because I think he knows way more than both Norman and Emma. In the last episode, we kind of got their abilities in a way. They showcased what each of them is good at, and Emma is basically good with people, good at socializing, and emotional character. She's also somewhat smart. And quite athletic as well, but she's not as smart as Norman. Norman seems to be like the most logical, the most strategically based character. But then there's this Ray guy who I think he's the scheming kind of character. He'll come up with some kind of plan to escape, because he seems to be more of the rebellious kind, if you know what I mean. And we got a number again. I guess that's somebody else's number. Probably one of the three main guys. Now that she knows the truth, it must be really hard to see the person she loved for so many years just act normal. But apparently Norman is able to hide his feelings. Um, yes, exactly. Their mom is an interesting character. I'm looking forward to learning more of why she got in this position. Why is she the one bringing up all those kids? Okay, so they call them demons. I'll go by with that as well from now on. I used to call them monster, but yeah, I'll call them demons from now on. Okay. So the older you get, the higher quality you are. But I assume that's until 12 years old. Okay, yeah, this makes sense. So they only keep the really smart ones for the end. Why? Why? That's a good question. No, I think it's the brain. Yeah, it has to be something with the brain. They like smarter people. Yes, exactly. The size of the brain. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So they're kind of like zombies in a way. Okay, so they have 2 months. Will they be able to find a way? I think Ray has a plan. I think he has been planning something before, because I believe he found out about the secret way before them, and he has been scheming a plan. That's what I'm thinking. I think he's that kind of character. They won't be able to come up with a solid plan, so he has to have something planned already. Yes, exactly. So they don't have no idea what's outside. Well, it's about time for them to start exploring and start seeing what's waiting for them outside of the wall. In order to survive, they have to do it. But they kind of have to make a plan for what they will do after they escape as well, because they don't know what kind of world it's waiting for them out there. It may be safer inside than outside, which is the really sad thing. Again, that's what they say now, but after you get out, what's going to happen, right? Two kids are missing. Huh. Oh, it's probably the. No, I don't think it's the one from last time. Some. Hmm. Can they track their location, maybe? Maybe they have some kind of chips or something implanted inside them, and so their mother knows at all times where they are. That must be it. She looked at like her thing and she knew where to find the girl. I don't see Ray here. That's where would he be? Everyone seems to be. Yeah, they definitely have some kind of GPS or some kind of technology to find them. Okay. I like the fact that they're smart enough, smart enough to figure out all of those things, even though they're so young. It makes it a lot more interesting when the characters are just as smart as the viewers. They see exactly the same things that we can see. Okay, so what are the? I know they have like the number on their neck, but is that how they're being tracked, or is there more to it? Damn. Well, that's what you say, but maybe she can track them over time. Maybe she can see where they have been. You never know that she has to look in order to, and she can only see where they are at the moment she looks. But that would be convenient. It really depends what kind of technology it is. Because if it's some kind of GPS technology, yeah, she could definitely check where they've been like an hour ago or 2 hours ago. But if it's a different kind of technology, maybe she can only see where they are at the present time. Oh, they're making the mother look so much creepier than she looked before. I wonder what the mother is thinking. Is she thinking maybe that her quality is degrading or something, or maybe she believes Emma is the one who brought the bunny. It's cool that Emma's been being able to hide her feelings, and she's even trying to get more information out of their mom. She's actually really smart. Yeah. What will they answer? They managed to do it, to hide their feelings. But I don't know how long it will take for their mom to find out the truth. She probably already suspects them because she asked them that question. Maybe she's not sure if she can't see where they, if she can't track where they have been yesterday. But they're definitely prime suspects. Okay, we get to see like Ray in the background, like watching them from the window, from behind them. He has to have a plan. I'm 100% positive. He has to have some kind of plan to escape. He probably has been scheming for a while now, and he was able to endure the truth. If because I think he has found maybe a year or something, maybe more than a year ago, and he has been scheming something in secret, basically, because he was the one who told them to go to outside the gate. Okay, so he's good at machines too. That's something new that we learn. Will he be able to make like a gun or some kind of weapon to fight against them? He just comes out like that. What's that? Huh, maybe he doesn't know, but I don't think that's the case. I think he knew. He definitely knew before them that something's wrong is going. Apparently he doesn't know. So he doesn't know. Wow. I for sure thought he knew something was wrong, but apparently he doesn't. Okay, so 37. We got some numbers. What what did she not notice? Yeah, exactly. What do you do after? Exactly. What do you do after you escape? Yeah, I was saying that earlier. That is the best option. But, Emma has to be like a shonen protagonist and has to want to save them all. Which is a noble wish, but, if you are in that kind of situation, I think Ray and Norman think way clearer than Emma does. Yeah, that's true. She is cheerful. That makes sense. Yeah, she's that kind of person that puts her family before her own life. Realistically, yeah, he's right. I completely agree with Ray in this case. I guess they're getting to that age when they start liking each other. The soundtrack in the back though is so crazy, so insane. I really like it. But it's a bit over the top for this kind of scene, right? It's more for an action scene kind of soundtrack. But in the end, yeah, they have to work together at the end. They obviously can't do it on their own. So even if their plan is not perfect, even they want to save everybody, and that's a lot of troublesome. Oh, a new character. Okay, so we got a baby and an adult. Interesting. I won't talk more about that, but after this episode, I'll go into more why I think that's interesting. Oh, the episode is already over. But damn, this ending is really cool. I really like the piano bit. But yeah, guys, I'll talk more about the episode, especially the last scene and what I believe will happen in the future in the second part of the video, which should start in just a moment from now. So I'll see you in a bit. Alright people, so episode 2 of The Promised Neverland was not as packed with content as the first episode. It was quite a bit slower, a lot less information was revealed in this episode, which was to be expected to a certain degree. But to be honest, I hope the show will pick up in how much they're going to show us in the future episodes, because we didn't get that many revelations in this episode. We had towards the end it was more interesting content for theorizing and stuff like that, but the first half of the episode was pretty much with stuff that we already knew, or to a certain degree we could expect to be like that. But the first thing that was interesting in this episode was the fact that demons, which are the monsters, as I called them previously. I called them demons because apparently that's what the characters call them. They call them Oni in Japanese. So yeah, that's pretty much translates to demon. So I guess that's their official name. But they like brains, and they like smart brains. But it was revealed that a normal quality brain is like a 6-year-old regular child brain, and like the highest possible quality that you could get when it comes to this is a 12-year-old's brain, who is also really smart. But in order to get to 12 years old, basically you have to constantly pass those tests that they give you, which our 3 main characters did, and that's why they are the only ones that old. They are probably quite rare. The 12 years old, while being the tastiest for the demons, are probably really hard to come along. But in this case, this house has 3 of them waiting to be shipped, basically in maybe 2 months. That was the next shipping date that Norman was mentioning in this episode. But it's interesting that the part of the body that they like the most is the brain. And what's the most peculiar thing is that they don't want their children to get over the age of 12. That's an interesting detail, because in a way, if you want to escape from being killed, basically, you just have to get older than 12, if you think about it. Just reach the age of 13, like if you can just run away for a year or so, and you probably don't taste good anymore. Those demons probably have a taste only for young humans. So if you basically reach the age of 13, you are pretty much safe. At least that's what I'm assuming. Maybe they'll just straight up kill you, but there's no need for them to kill you. And I'm thinking now, maybe that's how people in this anime become adults, basically. They're the adults that you see in the show. Maybe they were at some point in the same situation as our 3 main characters, but maybe they just ran away for a year or so, and at that point they weren't tasty anymore, basically, and the only thing that demons had to do with them was maybe use them to reproduce or take care of other humans like their mother does. So maybe their mother was at some point in the same scenario as they are right now, which is quite interesting thing to think about it. And maybe she has to take care of them in order for herself to survive in a way. Maybe if she doesn't do that, the demons just kill her. I still like to think that she's a good character, or at least somewhat good. I don't think she's pure evil. I think she's more in a gray kind of area, not white or black. Another thing that was interesting and unexpected, I would say, is the fact that Ray didn't know anything. Apparently, he didn't know anything about the demons, which really surprised me. I was absolutely sure that he at least had some kind of idea. Maybe he didn't know all the details about them, but I assume that he realized that people are not going out of the house to live a better life. They're basically getting killed, or I thought he would have realized that this is what happened, what was happening, and I thought that maybe he already had something planned in order, like an escape plan, but apparently he didn't, which was interesting. In a way, it doesn't hurt his character, but I was expecting him to be like the guy that would see like the whole picture, because even in this episode we got those frames, those scenes where you see him at the window watching over them and in their back watching them, and from those visuals you'd assume that he has a better view of the picture than Norman and Emma, but apparently he doesn't, which again, he also accepted what he was told like really quick. He motivated it by saying that he would trust Norman. Norman wouldn't make that kind of lie. But then again, somewhat in me still wants to believe that Ray knew about those demons, or not, maybe he knew about them, but maybe he knew that something is wrong with this house, and he already has a plan to escape. That's what I would like to believe, but we'll see about that. he said that he didn't have, but he seems like that cunning kind of character that would have some kind of scheme already planned. So maybe in the next episode we get more into him. Hopefully he has some kind of plan, some kind of thing he already thought about, because I would love if his character was more complex than he just found out and he's now working with them. But then again, maybe that's how it is and we'll have to accept it. He is already an interesting character, but I still think that he is hiding something from them. He seems that he is at least hiding something from Emma and Norman. The next thing that I pointed out is that in the end they decided to save everyone, which was what Emma was mentioning in the last episode as well, that she wants to save basically all the 37, I guess 38 now, with the new children that has has arrived at the house. So she wants to save everybody, which is very realistic. If you think about it, a bunch of them are like 6-year-old and even younger than that. It's really hard in a way to coordinate a group of kids like that. If you've ever been to a kindergarten, if you've ever worked with kids before, or if you just spent a few hours with young children, it's really hard to make them do something that you want, even if you explain to them logically that they have to do this because it's for their own good. Kids are kids at the end of the day. Even if you are an adult, it would be really hard for you to coordinate them. Imagine being just a 12-year-old, even younger, 11-year-old, as they are now, trying to coordinate all those kids basically to escape. And again, they are not physically fit, they are not physically capable to do hard tasks. Obviously the three older characters, the three main characters that we have, they are very smart and they are very physically capable of escaping basically from the house. But then you have like a random 4-year-old kid which they want to save as well, like a 3-year-old, and even a baby was revealed what came into the story now at the end. What are you going to do with that? Like, how do you even take care of them? And another point that was that we figured out before this episode, but is something that Emma didn't figure out, but Ray gave her a reality check real quick, is that what do you do after you escape from this house basically? Because you'd assume that outside of the walls there's a demon society. You would assume until the end thing that I'll talk about it a bit later, but yeah, a normal person would assume that because they are like in a farm basically, the outside world is just filled with demons. There are no humans or very few humans, and nobody's going to help you in that kind of situation. Or even if they would want to help you, where do you find them, right? You can't expect just to get out of the house and then just be fine and dandy, because obviously they have some kind of tracking devices, and even if you get rid of them, how do you get food, right? You run in the forest, maybe you get to eat like some berries, some fruits, maybe you manage to hunt some animals or something, and maybe you do manage to survive. But then again, if you have like 37 children with you, you have to hunt quite a lot to feed all of those people. So the logistics of that are it's really hard for me to think how they would be able to escape with everybody. If it was just the three of them, it would make sense. They're very capable to survive, and they could find food for themselves and basically carry their own weight. But a lot of the children that they want to take with them, I would say maybe the vast majority of them are not able to carry their own weight. So Emma, Ray and Norman pretty much have to carry the weight of everybody else, which is something that Emma wants to do. And because Emma wants to do this, Norman wants to do it as well, because what was revealed is that Norman likes her, and it's something that I really like. that he just told Ray straight up, told him that he likes Emma. You usually don't get this kind of confession, like, or at least a character that directly confesses like that in anime. A lot of the times you just figure it out from the way they act, that they're into each other, or they have a crush on another character. It's really nice that Norman understands that he likes her and understands his feelings, and even though it's not logically for them to save everybody, he much rather wants to see Emma happy. That's pretty much his goal, and if it takes saving all the other children just to see her happy, he's going to do that. And he even said that he might sacrifice himself for that. So that's kind of a death flag for him. You never know if out of those three main characters, if one has to die, it would probably be Norman. Because he already said that he would sacrifice for Emma, right? And if it comes down to it, to a situation where Emma's life is put on danger, he would be the one to save her. But then again, we have Ray, who now knows his feelings, and he was convinced by the feelings of the others too. It's interesting that they all came to a conclusion. It's good that they are not arguing about it. Yeah, there was like short argument, but it's better to have a plan that's not perfect rather than argue about different ideas, right? Because at the end of the day, it's better to have everybody focused on one way of resolving the situation, rather than everybody having their own ideas, their own plans, their own thing to do. Yeah, it's that way the group is much more disjointed, but this way they can all work together to attain their goal. Okay, so the last thing that was introduced at the end of the episode, we got a new character. Krane was her name. I apologize, I don't remember her name. And we got a baby as well. What's interesting about the fact that those two new characters are introduced was, first of all, the new woman that came to the house is an adult, right? So, if an adult came from the outside, from somewhere out there, that means there are other humans out there, right? So there is a human society out there. Are they controlled by the demons? Maybe. But perhaps there is that ray of hope, because if you knew that pretty much everybody out there was just demons, right? Even if after they escape, what do you do if the world is filled with demons? They say they want to rebuild society or whatever, but yeah, that's not it's not that easy. They have to pretty much run to another human society, right? So the fact that there are adults living out there, even though they are working under demon control, if a young children comes at you, even you would want to hide them, right? There have to be good humans out there. Perhaps there are a lot of bad humans like their mother, and I assume these new characters that are introduced are completely doing what the demons are telling them to do, basically. But maybe they do it because they have to save their own family. Think about it. What if they have like children of their own, right? And the demons are basically holding them hostage or something like that. And those women pretty much have to do what they're telling them in order for their child to survive. That would be something normal to do. So if there is a human society, there's some place where they could realistically run to, or that would be like a last ray of hope, basically, in this kind of world. So it's interesting. We have a new baby as well, so we know that the baby is probably born like not long ago. So a new life was born. That means there are still humans reproducing out there, right? We don't know how this came to be. At the end of the day, they could be made in like a lab or something, if you think about it. I don't know what kind of technology those demons have, but if they have like some cloning technology, something like that, maybe maybe everybody was made like in a lab, but I don't think that's the case, because there's an adult human, right? So there probably are human societies out there. They're probably governed by the demons. They're probably holding them under very strict regulation. They're probably like basically like North Korea. That's what I'm thinking, and they pretty much have to obey the demons. And in order for their society to survive, they probably have to provide, like every 2 months or whatever the period is, they have to provide some food for the demons. That's what they have to pay basically for their society to survive. And that's why I'm saying that their mother and probably this new character, it's very hard for me to think that they're completely evil, unless they are demons in disguise as well, which can be a possibility, but I don't think that would make as much sense as them being pretty much forced to look over those children. And yeah, in order for them to survive, and maybe their family, maybe their children or their husbands, or their parents, or somebody in their families hold hostage, and maybe that's why they do what they do. But yeah, those are my thoughts about this episode. I like the music that played when they are having like the argument about the decision of saving everybody, but I felt like the music was way too intense, for that kind of scene. It's some kind of music that would be really nice in like an escape scene, or maybe like a fight scene, something like that. But in an argument, it was a bit too intense. But the song itself was really good. So yeah, so far I'm really liking the music in general of this anime. I think it was one of the highlights. The animation there's not really that much to talk about animation this episode, because the vast majority of the episode was them talking. There weren't many dynamic scenes. Most of the show was like still frames with them talking. What I really liked was the camera work when they were talking with their mom. Well, their mom in the hallway. The camera work was really cool and really creepy. It's something that they did in the first episode as well, something that they do again now. The way they do those camera shows, the way the camera was moving and panning away from their faces, and it really enlarges like their mother face in order for her to look creepier. Yeah, that was fantastic. That was really good cinematography right there. But other than that, the animation was pretty average this episode. Nothing that stood out for me. But yeah, I would like for the next episode to be a bit faster. I would like for them to move the plot a bit more, because other than the fact that new character was introduced at the end of the episode, and that they finally decided to a plan, which they kind of decided to save everybody in the first episode as well. They had to reinforce the idea that they're going to escape together with everybody. Not much has happened this episode, and hopefully the show picks up the pace, because I'd like to learn more about demons. I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing the show too much, because I'm really liking the way it's going, and I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. But that's exactly why I want the pace to move a bit faster, because I want to learn more about the demons as fast as possible, right? Maybe I'm too greedy, right? Maybe I have wrong standards, and maybe slow pace does a show like this better, because you get to see the interaction between characters for longer. You get to understand them better. But I would love, if we get a tiny bit faster in the next episode. That would be my only criticism for this episode. But with that being said, I think I'm done for this episode. I'm going to go and watch the next one, and hopefully you guys will join me again. If you stood and watched this video until this point, please consider hitting that thumbs up button. It really helps me a lot. As well as, check my Patreon. If you go to my Patreon, you can watch the next episode in advance. You can have early access to it. So if you're watching it on YouTube, consider going to Patreon. There are different options. There are even options for you to watch the episode with the video in the background. So, you know, if you really want to get the most of the professional weeb right there, the best place to do is the Patreon page. With that being said, guys, I've been Leo, the professional weeb, and I'll see you in the next video. Sayonara.